Hey everybody, it is Tuesday, January 12th, 2021. We're going to do a quick look at the markets before we get into some other news today. The Dow Jones closed the day over 31,000. Simply amazing. We take a look at the stock market, and we had the previous president, still the current president, but the previous president, the one that's leaving, saying that the stock market was up because of him. Well, he's going to be out of office in, 8 days? But yet the stock market is still up. So that shows you it didn't have anything to do with the person sitting in the office, right? This is about the banking system, the bankers, the Fed. They have unlimited liquidity, unlimited currency creation powers. They can keep markets propped up. They can manipulate the economy in ways that we are continuing to discover here. But as we go back, we recall that on this channel, the narrative has always been the Fed is going to keep this propped up for the time being. Well, now we're entering a new, we're transitioning into a new administration. So what we want to do is try to prepare for what might be ahead of us. All right, again, this has nothing to do with who's sitting in office. It's all about the bankers that are keeping this propped up. Now, you may see the person sitting in office put pressure on the Fed to do one thing or another. Of course, we saw a lot of criticism of the Fed when they tried to raise interest rates in the current administration. But what's going to happen in the next administration? We have a lot of possibilities out there, and for me personally, that creates a lot of uncertainty, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to stay out of the markets for now. Right, I do have a couple trades on the table, but nothing major at this point. I'm kind of taking a sit back and wait and see approach right now. But nonetheless, the markets are still up, even with all the turmoil, the unrest, the left versus right animosity. And one thing real quick, I just wanted to mention, I've seen lately comments saying, oh, JJ, he must be a GOP, a backer of the GOP. This is not about any political party. I've spoken here and there that you should get a self-defense unit. I'm afraid to say the word GUN on here because there's so much algorithmic suppression of content, so I kind of have to be very choosy about the words, and that's why you hear me kind of stutter and say because I'm trying to figure out ways to say things a lot of times that are not going to put out a word, because you could say a word or a phrase that'll get you in trouble on this platform, unfortunately. That's the world we live in. So GUN is a self-defense unit. That's what I call them, and maybe it's not one of the bad words, but I'm just trying to be as careful as possible. But someone heard me say to go get self-defense units, so based on that, they said I might be a backer of the GOP. This is not about a political party, so whoever is thinking that, whoever may be new to the channel, this is not about one party, left versus right. The whole left versus right system was designed for you to be mad at another person or another group instead of the ones that are running this economy. All right, and that's another thing. We don't need people or decision makers to run the economy. The economy should be able to run itself. It's called a free market. We haven't had one in the United States in over 100 years. Right, but as soon as you get bankers making decisions and as soon as you get lawmakers manipulating things, then you no longer have a free market, and that's the problem. But what we can do is try to navigate these waters and try to benefit from this system. Now, looking back over the 4 years, I was very disappointed at the financial policies of the current administration. Right, we saw the bubbles get bigger. We saw the ultra wealthy gain more wealth in the last 4 years than at any point in U.S. history. Right, but yet you have groups of people out there that are still fighting and rioting, to keep this person in office. And I think we need to look at the big picture. It's not about who's in office, right? The bubbles are going to stay propped up depending on the overall agenda, not about a left versus right agenda, the overall agenda. So what's the broad agenda? Well, the broad agenda, according to what I can see here, and according to the data that I've uncovered, is they're going to have all the wealth taken away from the bottom 99%, and pretty soon it's just going to be the top 1% controlling the bottom 99%, right? It's already not far from that now, right? So we can try to focus on how to stay afloat to keep our head above water in this situation. It's not about left versus right, so get that out of your head. That's complete nonsense. All right, but one of the biggest investments for a lot of people has been alternate assets, digital assets, and we know gold and silver are still there in the background. And I still continue to think that there's going to be a play for gold and silver as part of the next monetary system. And I think it's coming sooner than most people realize. All right, but today let's talk about the biggest gaining asset. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. And we told you when it went up to 41,000, we were going to see a price pullback. I saw a lot of you down in the comments say you're crazy, it's going to keep on going. Well, look at the pullback we had. We're down at 34,399 right now. But let's take a look at a chart here going back over 5 days. We peaked out just over 41,000 back here, 41,650. At the bottom of the recent sell-off, we were down to 30,829. That was a sell-off of over $10,000. Right, as you can see here, we've recovered a little bit since then. We're back to 34,399. Right, but what did I tell you? I said there was going to be a pullback. So if you're a dip buyer, that would have been the time to buy right there. Now, you don't know how far the dip's going to be. Maybe it'll go up a little bit, maybe it'll go back down. But the point is, I was trying to stress people having FOMO and jumping in Bitcoin at 39, 40, 41,000. Absolute insanity. That's when you should be selling. That's when you should be selling. When you see a mania, that's when you should be selling. When everyone's scared to buy, that's when you should be buying. And I'm waiting for a bigger drop. And yes, I have other cryptos, but I talk about Bitcoin because that's the main one that most people are familiar with. All right, but the same is true for stocks. I don't like to jump in on an asset that's already taken a huge run up. I like to wait for pullbacks, wait for panic, wait for sell-offs. Right? That's why you keep cash on the side. All right, and this is also true for stocks. If you think the market's going to keep on going up, then go ahead and jump in and ride the bull further upward. But that's just not the way that I do things. I wait for pullbacks, and it's done pretty well for me so far. So that's all I can say about that. Okay, but what to expect in 2021? Well, we've started the year with another record low for mortgage rates. So far, what it looks like, it's going to be more of the same. Market propping, asset bubbles getting bigger, money printing. I'm sure the debt that the current administration ran up, the next administration will double the debt, maybe triple the debt with all the programs that they're talking about implementing. We'll have to see. All right, but so far it looks like inflation is the name of the game. But anything can happen. There's a lot of situations that can jump out and present a decline or deflation. And your guess is as good as mine as what that event's going to be. But I always am trying to prepare for that event. So when you have deflation, you need to have some cash on the side, because when things go on sale, you don't want to be all in a market and then you have nothing to scoop up the assets with when markets correct. And there's a lot of danger right now. There's a lot of not just uncertainty, but a lot of risks out there, a lot of risks. And you're going to continue to see the social situation unfold here. I expect more unrest, more groups upset about their administration getting beat, and continue to prepare and throw caution to the wind here, because you're going to continue to see wild happenings here in the U.S. So stay well, stay safe. We'll check back with you maybe later today, maybe tomorrow, but hopefully we'll see you back here very, very soon. Stay well, stay safe, stay prepared. Bye for now.